Well, according to this, I don't see any facts that have changed. This is from the Independent. It says Ghislaine Maxwell's Little Black Book to remain secret after judge warns against needless name dropping. It says redacted version of the infamous Contact book featuring Maxwell and Epstein's network of famous friends was published online in 2015. This came out in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
It says Ghislaine Maxwell's Little Black Book containing the names and addresses of nearly 2,000 world leaders, celebrities, and alleged victims will remain secret. Miss Maxwell's
world leaders. Those sound like elites to me, right? World leaders. Remember, because Ben was like, "Oh, there was no elites getting blackmailed." World leaders sound like elites to me.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you got a little black book, girl? First of all, it's like 2020. It's 2021. You holding a little black book like you ain't got a cell phone?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, she got a list. That's called a list. I'm not. Little black book is what you had that in the 90s. That's where you kept your side pieces and stuff. Like, nah, if you got a little black book in 2011, 2015, 2016, it's for other reasons. And every 2,000 world leaders, who is Ghislaine Maxwell to know and have a contact list of 2,000 world leaders? Who is she? I mean, I know who she is, but I'm saying like, of what importance is she to the function of the world that she should have that much contact with 2,000 world leaders?
Yep. Niko House, welcome back.
Appreciate it, man. You're too kind. It's been too long, man. I'm glad to be back.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's kind of funny because you actually chose to wear my favorite color, orange.
Oh, really? Man, my wife actually loves this shirt. That's why I have it on. I actually was going to wear something else, but I was like,
see, that's why I like you, because your wife is good people.
She is, man. She is. She be getting on my nerves sometimes, but you know, that's because she's my wife. But she be doing now. She's learned to do it on purpose. So it's funny because, you know, obviously my wife doesn't speak English. For those of you who don't know, she speaks Portuguese, and one of the most interesting aspects of our relationship is like me actually understanding. Like, so there's a understanding of Portuguese, and then like understanding your like the nuance conversations and mannerisms of your significant other in Portuguese, because you actually understand them, like not just the language, but you actually understand them in their language. And so, and everybody has a different personality based off of, you know, what language you speak. Like my English personality is a little bit different than a Portuguese personality. And now that I understand her, she actually just takes great enjoyment by irritating. Like she just irritates me and does things on purpose, specifically to irritate me, because she's like, yeah, you can actually understand me now. So I can message you and irritate the hell out of you. She does it all the time, bro. It's so irritating. I'm like, why are you doing this? I just knew it would bother you. Like she does this thing where she like walks in front of me and she's like slows down because she knows I hate it. Like I'm a New Yorker. Like everyone from New York hates that shit. Like you can't just walk in front of me, speed up, and then slow down. And she knows I make a big deal about it all the time when we're like in Copacabana. And she'll do it on purpose. She'll be like walking fast out of nowhere, and then she'll just like slow down. I'm like, why are you doing that? Oh, my bad. I didn't realize I was doing that. I'm like, yes, you did. Yes, you did. But all right, it's cool. It's actually
you so bad that you had to put a ring on
it. Yeah, man. That's kind of how it is, bro. I'm like, if she don't irritate you, she don't love you.
Yep. She's like, you're like, I want to be annoyed by you forever.
Yeah. Hey, actually, yeah. That's kind of how I feel. I actually told her that the other day. I was like, yeah, you know, you're my favorite. Like, you're my favorite annoyance. Like, you get on my nerves, but you're my favorite headache. So it's cool. But it's like, but low key, you know, I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled. She be doing it because I'm spoiled, right? Like I be waking up to bed, like to breakfast in bed, basically every day. Like the kids, like I don't even get. I'm up, but like the kids are already like my oldest is already getting ready for school. He's already out the door. My other is already taking a bath. He already ready to go for his. I'm like, damn, you already did all this. It's 5:45 in the morning. Like she up. I don't even feel that she got up. I'm like, so if she mess with me a little bit, I ain't gonna complain because, you know, I'm spoiled. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little spoiled. So yeah.
Good deal, man. So, Niko, where do we start? Because there was this point where we were thinking that maybe, just maybe, Trump's Department of Justice would come out and say, okay, we got the Epstein files. We got the client list. We're about to release all the names, right? Because Remember back in the day where the whole Pizzagate QAnon thing was, oh my God, there's child sex traffickers and blah blah blah.
Well, that part, I mean,
whole thing,
yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. And then now it's weird because it's like we have the list, and then we're like, okay, give us the list. What list?
What list?
We didn't say there was a list. Who told you there was a list? There ain't no list.
Well, hey, you know what's funny about that, bro? I mean, they told us there was a list, right? Mamdani literally gave a whole spiel about how it was New York holding up the list before he was nominated as the director of the FBI. Kash Patel was talking about how the Republicans had the majority in the House and they were cowards for not for doing everything to impede the release of the list. And they're like, yeah, no list. But before it was like, there's no video of Epstein's suicide. Oh, but we got a video now. So like there was a list, but now there isn't a list, and there wasn't a video, but now there is a video. Even though there's a minute missing, did you hear? By the way, did you hear the excuse as to why the minute is missing? I don't know if it's new. It's from a press conference today.
Wait! I gotta show you this. You might have saw it already because you stay plugged in, and there is. I think they found the missing minute.
They said they found it.
No. They found the missing minute. Let me just share that with you right quick. Okay, so here it is, the missing Epstein minute. As we can see here.
Oh shit! Oh my God! Oh my, bro, the pantsuit. Yo, not the pants, in the pantsuit, dog. They wrong for that. Yo, that's hilarious.
Wait, what did she say? He came, he saw, he died, right?
Yeah, basically. You know what though? That what's crazy about that is that's not like all that unbelievable. Like, would you not? I mean, not necessarily her, but like somebody connected to her probably was involved. I mean, if you want to get somebody suicided, she literally would be the best person to contact, right? Like,
I mean,
for being honest, like,
I mean, she managed to get rid of Gaddafi.
I mean, but like, shit, she managed to get rid of more people on her own team than world leaders. Shit, like, if the moment you become inconvenient, like, you just gonna disappear in the park somewhere. It's crazy how suicidal people become working for Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton, dog. The working conditions for them must be like very, very stressful because everybody commits suicide after getting done working for them. But in the case of Epstein, I just find it interesting because, like I said, I mean, Kash Patel staked his whole career on this one issue, exposing the corruption involved, not only like the corruption involved with Epstein and all the clients who apparently don't exist, but also the amount of people in corruption involved in hiding the list and helping those people avoid accountability. That was his whole spiel, right? And a lot of people assumed, I didn't really believe it, but that's what people assumed, is that he was being put as the FBI director by Trump so that there would be no impediment to releasing not just the Epstein files, but the JFK files, RFK files, MLK files, basically anywhere where perhaps the U.S. government or its officials were implicated in some type of conspiracy. And we got redacted JFK files. I mean, we learned a little bit more. We learned how closely tied Israel was to his assassination. I mean, but like, okay, we already knew that. But the Epstein files for him specifically was supposed to be his bread and butter. And for him to sit here and gaslight us, not just him, Bondi as well, and gaslight us the way they've been gaslight, it's insane because like, they've said they've had two statements that they've made, and I'm still trying to really figure out which one is I guess which one they're going to go with officially, because they said there wasn't a client list. Then they said there wasn't a client list that where anybody was implicated, like where anybody should be prosecuted. So it's like, does the list exist, or did y'all research this list and decide that they didn't do anything wrong? because I'm trying to understand if you did conduct a thorough investigation and we know that Epstein was in fact found guilty, why are you not letting, why don't you release a list? Like, why don't you release a list or at least prosecute and let the courts decide?
I mean, put it before a grand jury, right?
Yeah.
In fact, for what you were just talking about, let's take a look at this, because here's the juxtaposition where Kash Patel, before he was FBI director, and then Pam Bondi as well.
Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
Tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume. And that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going.
Again.
So wait, hold on. If there's hundreds of video, and if there are other people, if there are other people who are implicated, who may be shown in video, who might be on the list, then why aren't they putting that out there?
Yeah, because they said it was child pornography, right? Like, so either it's just a bunch of kids in the nude, which I seriously doubt that's the case, because they said they were trafficked, right? That's what Epstein was found guilty of, trafficking.
Yeah.
He was not found guilty of being the lone wolf, sexually assaulting every single one of these minors, right? Like that's not what he was found guilty of. He was guilty of trafficking minors along with Ghislaine Maxwell. So who did he traffic them to? And then for them to say that there was no blackmail involved of elites, bruh. And so Prince Andrew, I don't know if you know, but like while this was happening, they decided to absolve Prince Andrew. They said there was not enough evidence to prosecute, like the U.S., which is weird because like that would be a matter obviously for England, for UK to prosecute, but the FBI felt like it was important. The DoJ felt like it was important to come out and say that Prince Andrew wasn't guilty of anything. Just right after, by the way, Virginia, the woman who accused him, killed herself, was found dead. So
okay, wait.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah, that news actually slipped through the cracks yesterday while they were busy, because everybody, they were saying like no one was getting blackmailed, and everybody was like, "Hold up, no, I distinctly remember that Prince Andrew situation because it was a big deal when that judge came out and released those documents. She unredacted them, and that's how we found out Prince Andrew was involved. Bill Clinton was re-implicated, but Prince Andrew was the biggest name that popped up because it was new." And so to say that there was no client list, right? Or, one, they said there was no client list, which is weird. Like, I'm like, yo, you're the worst blackmailer ever because, bro, you kept a flight log of everybody who's ever on your plane. You got videos on videos, allegedly, right? You did everything. You laundering money like a pro, right? Through multiple banks over the course of decades. But you forgot to keep a list of the names of the people you blackmailed. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Like, you're the worst blackmailer ever, which once again, that's not true. I feel like they have the list, and I feel like it's one of those situations personally where it's two things. They got threatened. I don't feel like Netanyahu's trip to the United States yesterday was a coincidence. I don't feel like it was a coincidence at all. I feel like it was one of those situations where it was like, yo, so I'm popping through. Because y'all seem to be playing games with this Epstein list, like y'all actually going to release it. I just need to remind y'all who's in charge. Like that's what it felt like when he showed up yesterday. But
it's most wanted.
Yeah, right. But two, I truly believe that there is this fear that society would collapse because of just how many names are on that list. And because it's not just about who is on the list, it's about who is in charge when those people were engaging in that behavior, who allowed it to happen, who refused to prosecute it, who was hiding it, Because it ain't just like when you talk about a conspiracy or a RICO case, for example. This wouldn't be a RICO case, but like in a RICO case, it's not just the person who sold the drugs. It's everyone who was involved in the conspiracy. That's the problem. It would be the collapse and the total destruction of the trust that people have in their Western institutions. And that's already fading as it is, but it would be over. They would be like, why the fuck would we listen to anything y'all got to say? There would be no redemption. I believe that it would just, they know that. Like, it's beyond just holding them accountable now. It's like, bro, when you look at that list, Prince Andrew was on the, like, bro, when you talking about princes involved, princes, presidents, celebrities, elites. I mean, bro, this whole, even the Diddy situation seems like oddly timed. Like the adjudication of the Diddy situation seems oddly timed, right? The fact that once again it's a video appeared out of nowhere, the fucking Patel gaslighting us, saying we don't want to basically re-traumatize these women, and the women are like begging for everyone to talk about this again. They're like, yo, no, we want people to be held accountable. What are y'all talking about? It's already happened. We are waiting for you guys to hold them accountable. Bro, Ben Shapiro came out and was like, he said, you know, guys, I know Pam Bondi, you know, I know Cash Patel. I don't think they would lie to us. They wouldn't lie to me. I'm for real. He really said that, bro, in the clip. I was like, is he joking? And he said, and if you believe otherwise, you have to provide proof. Jay, how the hell am I going to provide proof of something if they don't want to goddamn release a list? Of what proof? You won't even give us that.
Yeah, let's take a look at that, because I want to hear what he has to say here, because Ben is insufferable. Let's just put on the record.
We now have the answers. And the problem is this. People who never hedged their bets, people who never at any point suggested to you that they don't have data to back up the speculation, that the speculation was in and of itself the conclusion, that if you speculate without evidence, that amounts to an actual conclusion to an investigation, they're going to be very upset today, because it turns out that the DOJ and the FBI have concluded that Epstein didn't have a client list and died by suicide, according to a memo detailing the findings obtained by Axios. Now, again, does this put to bed like all inquiries? Of course not. People can continue to speculate as much as they want. And I think there's still open questions here regarding how did Epstein make his money? But that's a very serious open question. And the speculation for a long time was he made his money from blackmail. But the DOJ and the FBI, again, run by people like Dan Bongino and Cash Patel and Pam Bondi, are telling you, I'm not telling you, they're telling you, people who are members of the Trump administration, people you elected and put into these positions on this matter.
We didn't elect them. Why do they say that? We didn't elect them. That's actually my whole problem with directors and federal attorney generals and shit, because we didn't elect them.
No, we didn't.
What vote did y'all, when y'all cast our ballots, did you see a vote for the FBI director, the CIA director, the DNI? No. Like, they advocated for themselves, but we didn't vote for them. Yeah. No one did. But that's an appeal to authority, right? Like, oh, it's people like Pam Bondi, like, okay, and like they don't really help your situation. You're not making a really good argument for yourself at this point. I don't trust them. Do they work for 3-letter agencies? Yeah, okay, then I don't trust them. Like,
that he didn't, in fact, he was not murdered. He did not keep a client list, and he did not blackmail powerful figures. Okay, right? That is the thing that they are saying, not I. They are saying this. If you're willing to throw that over and claim they're lying, then I'd like to see you present your evidence that they are in fact lying. Because I know Dan. I don't think that Dan Bongino is lying to me. I know Cash Patel a little bit. I don't think Cash Patel is lying to me. I don't think these people are lying to me. Which means that if somebody else continues to claim that they're lying, they ought to provide their evidence at this point. And now is the point at which the facts on the ground have changed. And so either you ought to shift your opinion based on the facts that have now emerged, or you ought to acknowledge that this was never a fact-based inquiry in the first place.
Bro, that's what we call working backwards from your conclusion. This is why I always say, bro, if I ever got a chance to debate Ben Shapiro on literally anything, it would be I would mollywop him. Because this dude literally said the facts have changed, and therefore your opinion should change. With what facts have changed, Jay? What fact? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, what facts have changed? Because he's like, go ahead.
Well, according to this, I don't see any facts that have changed. This is from The Independent. It says Ghislaine Maxwell's Little Black Book to remain secret after judge warns against needless name dropping. Says the redacted version of the infamous Contact book featuring Maxwell and Epstein's network of famous friends was published online in 2015. This came out in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
It says Ghislaine Maxwell's Little Black Book containing the names and addresses of nearly 2,000 world leaders, celebrities, and alleged victims will remain secret. Miss Maxwell's
world leaders. Those sound like elites to me, right? World leaders. Huh? Remember, because Ben was like, "Oh, there was no elites getting blackmailed." World leaders sound like elites to me.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you got a little black book, girl? First of all, it's like 2020. It's 2021. You holding a little black book like you ain't got a cell phone?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, she got a list. That's called a list. I'm not a little black book is what you had that in the 90s. That's where you kept your side pieces and stuff. Like, nah, if you got a little black book in 2011, 2015, 2016, it's for other reasons. And every 2,000 world leaders, who is Ghislaine Maxwell to know and have a contact list of 2,000 world leaders? Who is she? I mean, I know who she is, but I'm saying, like, of what importance is she to the function of the world that she should have that much contact with 2,000 world leaders?
Yep. It says Prince Andrew, former U.S. President Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump have been mentioned sporadically during her sex trafficking trial. Prince Andrew and Mr. Clinton and others mentioned indirectly, have also denied all accusations they were involved in any alleged sexual abuse. So it's
Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, he should have just shut up. Ain't nobody gonna believe not a damn word that come out of Bill Clinton about that. That shit was wild. I remember whenever all this news was coming out about Epstein, and Bill Clinton's name was dropped regularly and often, even in that report from Virginia, the documents that got dropped, and like the DNC invited him to speak at the DNC convention right after. I was like, bruh, y'all shameless. Because if this was like a Republican who got name dropped, y'all would never. And like AOC, I think, spoke like right after him. I'm like, I can't believe that shit.
Yeah. For instance, Juan Alessi, Epstein's former Palm Beach house manager, had testified the directory was used by Miss Maxwell to book massages from young girls, including at least one of the accusers in Miss Maxwell's sex trafficking trial. So, by that very fact there, Juan Alessi would know the people who are on some of that list. I hope this person's still alive.
Oh, that's actually probably a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sure, I can do a quick search real quick. That actually might be a good question. Juan Alessi.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I don't see a. Oh, he was part. Damn, 1991 to 92 through 2002.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like still alive.
Okay.
For now, looks like it.
Yeah. But people forget that Pam Bondi was also the
she was
one of the attorneys in Florida.
She was the Attorney General of Florida. Yeah. She was there for the sweetheart deal. I need people to understand the context of that. So the sweetheart deal that was given to Epstein, like 2014, 2015. Pam Bondi was the Attorney General. Jim Acosta was the judge who gave the sweetheart deal. Most of you all may remember when Acosta was actually asked by the press whenever Epstein was prosecuted again later, why he gave Epstein the sweetheart deal to begin with. He said because it was above his pay grade, and Epstein was a member of the intelligence community, right? Okay. He was actually fired from the Trump administration because of that sweetheart deal that he gave. Even though he made it clear, like, look, bro, I basically was threatened. I mean, I'm not saying that's a good reason, but I'm just keeping it a bang. Like, that's what it amounted to. What is wild about that is Bondi, being the attorney general, had the ability to appeal, right? Like, she could have got involved. She could have spoken up. There were plenty of steps she could have taken to ensure, like, she could have not accepted that. Like, nah, we need to run that back. She could have pursued the case even further because obviously there were other charges that could have been put on him because they were put on him. Otherwise, it would have been double jeopardy and they would have never been able to put him in jail the second time. But instead, Pam Bondi says nothing. Jim Acosta gets fired while being part of the Trump administration. And in a weird twist, ironically, Jim Acosta, by the way, he wasn't even part of any function of the Justice Department when he was fired. He had nothing to do with the Justice Department. He was not in any way connected to anything legal, even though he was a former federal judge. Bondi is the AG, y'all. Said nothing during the Epstein trial. Nothing as the AG of Florida. Also now a part of the Trump administration, but in an official legal capacity. She is the head cop. She's top cop. She lied when she said there was evidence. She even said that New York, the New York AG and the FBI up there were hiding evidence, and she's gonna get to the bottom of it, etc., etc., etc. Find out she's lying, and then nothing happens to her.
Yep. And as we can see here, they were holding up the evidence like it was like they won a prize. Like, hey, we got the evidence right here. Take a look, everybody.
Files of, if I'm not mistaken, those files had they were filled with redacted files that actually were already public. It was public info that they redacted and then like held up those binders like, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but what's wild about this whole situation is watching the Trump supporter meltdown that's been going on, at least online. Because like you got like Benny Johnson, for example, lives on TikTok talking about all the evidence that leads to the fact that obviously there's a client list. Obviously the government's conspiring to hide it. And they are doing everything they can and mentioning everybody they can except for Donald Trump.
Yeah. And the crazy part is, like, everybody who was talking about the client list, before all this, were like, yeah, we need to see the client list, including the VP.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list.
And and as much shit as I talk about Elon, whenever he was on that little ketamine kick, I don't know what was going on, he decided to go nuclear on Trump and say he will not. He said the list is on his desk. He won't release it because his name is on it, or at least he's involved in it. He said when he retracted that statement, it wasn't a retraction. Actually, people forget what he said. He apologized because he said he took it too far. He did not say that the claim that he made was untrue. There's a difference. He said he regrets that he took it that far. He did not say that the claim that he made was untrue.
Yeah.
So even Elon knows that the client list exists. He knows that the list exists. He knows that the files exist. To the extent of how much he knows about the files, who knows? But I mean, shit, it don't take nothing for him to pay somebody off and figure out exactly who's involved. But he knows. Bro, if you know how I know he at least knows a little bit, if not a lot, because for a while, Epstein and Peter Thiel's finances were deeply intertwined. And Peter Thiel's part of the PayPal mafia that Elon got rich from. So he knows something. Even before all this shit dropped, he knew something. And the fact that he was kind of like holding on to that information, like he knew already, I believe that he probably knew before he was part of the administration for working for DoJ, like, and just was like, yeah, man, I'm about to go nuclear on this motherfucker. He must have forgot who I know. And it would even, I guess, kind of make sense if you really think about it, because like I said, if if Epstein's and Thiel's finances were that intertwined, because they were at one point, like, it would kind of make sense that if Trump is going to put people in power who are running on exposing Epstein, because part of the exposure of Epstein has been like his connections and how he was laundering money through banks and shit like that, like Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan. He was laundering money through a bank off the Virgin Isles. Like, eventually that would come back to Peter Thiel. So it almost would make sense that would also be part of the motivation why Peter Thiel would want to get close to Trump to ensure that list doesn't drop. And obviously, as he gets more control over the administration financially, because he does have a lot of control via contracts and what have you, like, that gives him more control over what Trump is and isn't allowed to say. Because at the end of the day, corporations run the show. And Peter Thiel, I mean, that dude is one of the, I mean, I don't know if you can, I guess it's between him and Larry Fink as the most powerful people in the world. Like, not just from money, but from where they put their money at and what that then gives them control over. So, yeah, it's more than just the actual trafficking part. It's the money laundering and who participated in it, who benefited from it, why they were involved in it, why did they help. Once again, it's not just about the people who actually traffic or who the minors are trafficked to, but everyone connected to it. Western civilization might collapse. Because, bro, it could, I mean, shit, who gonna prosecute them if the prosecutors were involved? You feel me? Like, it's that deep, bro. It is that deep. And I feel like I don't feel like Elon was lying when he said that, because it's Elon. Elon is a child when it comes to shit like that. He's an infant. He's like, he'll throw a temper tantrum on your ass in a heartbeat. We've already witnessed it, right? Like, we witnessed it.
Yeah. Didn't he also implicate Steve Bannon?
I don't remember Steve Bannon.
I think Elon just also said something about Steve Bannon being on the list as well.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I can't remember if Bannon was one of the ones calling. I guess you can just basically judge it off of who is calling for the list to be released and who isn't, right? At that point. Like, if we get a bunch of footage and clips from Steve Bannon calling for the release of the list, maybe he isn't. But Trump went from, yeah, we should release it, and then, like, the closer we got to the potential release of the list, the more tepid his advocacy for the release of the list became. He's like, yeah, man, maybe we'll think about it, man. Like, you know, we gotta do some investigation.
In fact, here it is. So Roger Stone says, why would Bannon meet with Jeffrey Epstein both at his New York home in Paris after Epstein was convicted of sex crimes in Florida? Why would he coach Epstein for his 60 Minutes appearance? And Elon Musk said Bannon is in the Epstein files.
Well, there you go. Holy shit. What was that? Oh, that looked like July. He said that recently?
July 8th, which was today.
Oh, today.
This is from Midas Touch.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
And this was Midas. I was wondering when them liberals was gonna come out and start. I'm like, y'all not gonna jump on this? Y'all not gonna take advantage of this? Because Midas Touch is like a liberal PR firm, basically. They just do propaganda for Democrats. But I mean, yeah, if there was ever a time to take advantage of this bait that Trump is setting out there for y'all, bro, y'all need to take this. Liberals are the worst. I don't, bro. They just lied to the world and said they were going to release Epstein files, and y'all could easily use this to your advantage. I would be running on this. Oh yeah, like, when you run on this, like, the midterms are coming up.
Run on this. In fact, my big ass will be running, and I don't even run like that no more.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like, You can't lose whenever you're like, hey man, Trump's administration is holding a list of clients who had sex with minors. Like, what else do we need to discuss? The Republicans are defending him for doing so. His administration is actively participating in high lists. What else do we need to discuss, y'all? Get him out.
Niko, I would be like Kendrick Lamar. Say, MAGA, I heard you like them young. I'd be like that right now.
Bro, for like, the problem. Here's the problem, though. We all know that it wasn't just MAGA. We know that it's not just Republicans. And that's where we get to the crux of the issue, right? Because if it was just Republicans, the list would have been released. Because it ain't like that. That's the issue. That is the problem.
It's both parties. That's the problem.
They can't run on that because then they're gonna be like, well, hold up, didn't y'all say Bill Clinton was part of that list? Why? And then y'all just had him speak at not one but two conventions recently.
Mm-hmm.
And what they got to say about that? Oh shit! Hold on, we want to talk about that. And you got Alan Touch's kids, boy. That boy Alan Dershowitz is just wild. He just be. It feel like once a week he gets on an interview and just says some wild shit. Like when he was like, "Yeah, man, the Diddy outcome was a victory for justice." I'm like,
mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna say this, right? A hit dog will holler. You've heard that, right?
Yeah. That's some Southern shit.
Trump sounds like a dog that's going right now. Because let me show.
Bomb.
Let it rip.
Back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive.
Bring me in this.
But the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein. Back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the...
First of all, let's talk about the fact that she said we released a video that shows definitively the video was not conclusive.
That's not actually the video I wanted to share with you.
Yo.
That's not the one I wanted to share with you because Trump actually responded. I could just read what he said because the video won't show.
Mm-hmm.
But Trump said, Trump said, are you still talking about Epstein? This guy has been talked about for years. Are people still talking about this creep? I can't believe you're asking a question about Epstein. Like, to me, I'm like, if this is something
weird how the narrative shifted on it, right? It's weird how they shifted on that. It was like, we got to release this. It's really important to our voters. It's really important to my base. They can't, once again, Cash ran on this. Pam Bondi is attacking other attorney generals and other departments of justice in the state level for this. And now you guys are still talking about Epstein. Oh my God, isn't it time to move on? Motherfucker, no, it is not time to move on when we're still trying to figure out, once again, Epstein was found guilty, okay? Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty of what? Of trafficking. To whom?
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to let something go when y'all basically trying to tell us that they were guilty of trafficking to ghosts?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said yesterday, bro, I'm like, damn, maybe we should call the Ghostbusters. Maybe we get a better result. Because since the Justice Department don't want to do its damn job, like, and bro, I don't know if you saw that interview with Kash Patel on Fox News right after they announced that there basically is no client list. He started talking about how important it was to stay loyal to Israel and protect Israel's interests. I'm like, that's super subtle, ain't it? Like, yeah, we know that's what you're doing. We know that's what you're doing. By the way, I don't know if you heard my theory yet, but this reinforces my theory, in my opinion, that actually Israel, the greater Israel project, the greatest threat to the greater Israel project is the United States. And it's just that the United States has not figured out that Israel is actively trying to destroy it. But it's managed to convince the United States that, no, we're allies. The same way that the United States kind of used Western European powers after World War II to secure its powers, like to secure its power or status as a nuclear power, as a superpower, as the number one superpower, by like allowing them like, oh yeah, you're gonna help us, but you're gonna drain our resources. We're gonna create all the institutions. We're gonna make sure that all the power really runs through us and make y'all feel useful. We're gonna let y'all keep a little, maybe a little colony here, let y'all keep running the show there, but like really, y'all are actually working for us. And by the time we realize it, it'll be too late, and we'll already be the number one, the number one people on top. Like, and that's basically what Israel is doing. Like, even involving us in the war with Iran, that's not really about. Yeah, is it about defeating Iran? Yeah, but they know the United States can't beat Iran. They're not stupid. I know they have enough intelligence, like literally military intelligence, to know we can't beat them. We can't.
Yeah.
Like we can't do it. And even if we got into an active war with them economically, it would also damage not just the United States. It was going to drop, bro. That war could have driven oil barrels up to like $150 per barrel. It would have killed the world economy, but specifically the UAE, in which obviously Israel supposedly has its Abraham Accords with, but like they also need some of those countries because they fall into the Greater Israel Project. And it's easier to control them if they're economically disparate. And I was saying now, but like, so basically, in having the U.S. engage in Iran would be the same thing that they had hoped to achieve by having Germany and Russia engage each other in World War I. It was to drain both of them, right? And it was mildly successful until Stalin came into the picture, but like that was the goal. Was to drain both of them, even though Russia was our ally. So it's like the same. They're just using the U.S. playbook, and I feel like the U.S. because these fucking politicians are too busy counting their shekels, they're not realizing they're getting played. But the Greater Israel Project, the greatest threat to the Greater Israel Project, is the United States. And as long as we're the number one superpower, they can't be the number one superpower. So you got to do something to resolve that, right?
Yeah, in fact, I'm glad you mentioned that because this wants to shift gears just a little bit to what's going on between Israel and Iran. Actually, Tucker Carlson was actually speaking to the president of Iran. If we could just take a listen to this. This is, I think, one of the final questions that he asked.
Again and again, we don't want wars. We don't want to develop a nuclear weapon. And this false image, this wrong mentality created in the minds of the U.S. Decision makers and officials is because of the devilish machinations instigated by Netanyahu and the Israeli regime and its policies based on warmongering. And the U.S. president should know that another war will only spread more instability in the Middle East, and it is not going to be in the interest or in favor of the U.S. president or the U.S. government to move in that or towards that direction. They instead need to choose peace and tranquility, which is something that I am and my government and my country are after. And I also, as I said, I believe that the U.S. president is powerful enough to put Israel to Netanyahu in their place, to contain them and replace the warmongering, bloodshed, and conflicts with peace and tranquility.
Mr. President, thank you for taking the time to explain your perspective. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for providing me with an opportunity to tell you about what is going on in my mind and in my heart. And I hope that peace and tranquility will prevail, not just for the people of the United States, for the U.S. officials, but for the whole world, and especially the people of my region. And thank you again.
So they are trying to prevent whatever the United States is doing, because honestly, the president of Iran said that the United States, it would not work out in their best interest to destabilize the region. But I think the United States is just trying to destabilize the region because it's hard to take over a stabilized area to take over their resources. If it's unstabilized, then either you could take it over through just like military means, or you could take it over with social unrest so that you can do a regime change. And so I'm thinking that they're trying to do regime change more because it's actually the easier way rather than sending our troops to do it. But
so I think that what he's actually trying to insinuate without saying directly, because he's trying to walk a tightrope, right? He's saying it's not in the interest to destabilize the region by engaging in that particular war. And what I think he's trying to insinuate is, we know that you're not doing this for you, because destabilizing the region in this particular way benefits Israel, but it does not benefit you, right? The Strait, for example, that Iran is in control of, at one point, the U.S. was able, well, it was like in 1980. Don't quote me. 1984? No, 88. It was like a couple months from my birthday, actually. It was in 88. Operation Mantis, Praying Mantis, something to that extent. They were able to take control of the Strait, and Iran eventually was able to take it back. And now it's like one of the most protected straits. Like, there's nothing that they could do to.
You're referring to the Strait of Hormuz, right?
Of horrible, exactly. Like, it's so protected right now. Like, there would be a lot of bloodshed before the U.S. could even consider trying to have a chance at getting that straight. And they would have to fight every day to keep it, to the point where financially it wouldn't be worth it. However, that disruption would destabilize the UAE, because the UAE, what I want to say, 20% of the oil supply comes from there.
Yeah.
Like, they would be crushed with that, or flows through there rather. So like, they would be crushed if that strait was if there was just conflict and the oil wasn't allowed to flow freely. If Syria, for example, right now, yeah, we know like Assad's overthrown, and we know the U.S. was involved in it, but who's benefited the most from it? Has it really been the U.S.? When you really break it down, yeah, we helped the Al Qaeda, president, dictator, basically, who has still not given us a date for when his election is supposed to happen. Yeah, he's one of ours, and we put him in power. But like, who's benefiting the most from his reign? Is it us? No, it's Israel who's been able to mount military bases there, defend themselves using they've been able to intercept missiles from Iran. Which is crazy, because before that was restricted airspace. Under Assad, that would have never happened. They know that, which is part of the reason why they felt so bold in attacking Iran this time.
Yeah, because
they were able to defend themselves, right? If Egypt gets, because remember, Egypt's also part of the Greater Israel Project, and the only thing keeping Egypt loyal to the United States is what? Money. Ain't nothing else. If the United States taken out the picture in some way, form, or fashion, destabilized economically in a way that we can't continue to support Egypt in the way that we could, but Israel can, for whatever reason, or at least Israel can threaten Egypt to such a degree that Egypt has to bend the knee to maintain order, because the U.S. doesn't have the capabilities to defend them or give them the money to defend themselves anymore. Like, now all of a sudden, Egypt is in Israel's pocket. Like, it becomes obvious, if you actually are paying attention, that the United States working to destabilize Iran would just ultimately lead to the destabilization economically, and I believe it would seed doubt militarily in the United States, because everybody knows y'all can't win. That's why y'all haven't gone to war with them yet. Jay, how many times have I said on this show, in my show, plenty of time, if the United States thought they could go to war with Iran, they would have done so already.
Yeah.
If they thought they could win, they would have done so. They thought they could win in Afghanistan. That's why they went. They thought they could win in Iraq. That's why they went. Syria. That's why they went. Libya. That's why I can't count. Every time we think we can win, we go. Iran is the only country that we send other people to do our dirty work because we know we can't win. We like, hey man, y'all don't go try to handle that for us, please. Because we sent Saddam. Saddam got his ass whooped by Iran. Got his ass handed to him. Quickly, bruh. We didn't go, and we ain't been back since then. And now we know Iran is receiving technology from China. They sent 2 hypersonic missiles, bro. And Israel couldn't do shit about it. They couldn't do a damn thing. And that's just the technology we know they have. Imagine the technology they ain't shown us yet.
They probably got a Jericho missile.
Hey, look, while you playing, their scientists work with the Chinese scientists to make a lot of this tech. China now, I think for strategic reasons, I think it makes perfect sense, right? So for strategic reasons, China can't give them everything. But because China refuses to get involved with these issues militarily, I need somebody to test these weapons. And since y'all already got beef, hey man, I go ahead. I'm gonna give y'all some of this tech, but I can't show y'all all my cards. But for Iran, when China knows, but this is enough to get into Israel's ass, we know that, right? They were aware, but just to make sure, because one day you don't have to deal with Israel. Hey, Iran, go ahead and let 2 of them things off. Go ahead and let 2 of them things. And those were Mach 5. And they talking about China got Mach 12, dog. Bruh, you ain't gonna see them things coming. You ain't gonna hear them things coming. You just gonna hear pop, pop. That's it. So we don't, and Russia has weapons that they also, I'm sure, want to test as well. But they don't want to test them in the field against Ukraine because they know that the United States is waiting to figure out what kind of capabilities Russia has. So if things do escalate, it'll likely be Russia sending them more weapons because, Iran they haven't even scratched the surface of their weapons depot. They got more. They said they're like, yeah, bro, we use 5%. And most of the missiles that we use up until they launched those hypersonics were 30 years old, busting Israel's ass. 30
Niko,
years old, bro.
I gotta tell you,
blowing dust off the missile.
I gotta tell you, bro, you moonwalk into my next point so beautifully. It might as well be Motown's 25 right now because look what you did. Look what you did. Look, Pentagon halting some promised munitions for Ukraine.
Really? Because Trump said he about to give him some. So who lying?
Yeah, he's going back. He's basically countering what the Pentagon has already said. That's the
weird.
crazy part.
Usually the opposite. Usually he the one was like, no, we're not gonna do it in the Pentagon. I was like, bitch, yes, we are. So now it's the opposite.
And the crazy part is a lot of people who are in MAGA who are like, oh, we need to end these wars. They're basically going, wait, Donald, what are you doing? Because we're supposed to be ending these wars, not keeping them going. But Donald's like, nah, we got to keep this party going.
And threatening sanctions, and he threatened to sanction Russia even further. And what's crazy to me is he doesn't really have justification. He's actually started engaging in ad hominem attacks against Russia or against Putin because he can't give justification. There is none because all Putin is doing is responding to the actions of Ukraine and the EU and NATO. And now that and now Trump has become all NATO friendly and shit all of a sudden. What else is he supposed to do? Yeah, I know. Another thing that MAGA is trying to conveniently ignore. That I ain't ignore that shit because I remember how he was talking about how NATO's just a bunch of warmongers and the US needs to pull out for the sake of our own self-interest. And now all of a sudden he's friendly with NATO. Right? He said he's going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Now he's giving them more weapons. At first, it was Zelensky who's the problem. Now it's Putin. Bro, I said, y'all told me that every day I get on X, bro, and they be telling me I see at least once or twice, but he's infinitely better than Kamala. I can't tell. What's the difference in their foreign policy? Explain to me, please. I genuinely cannot tell, JB. I don't I guess the style that he delivers a lie, the way that he warmongers, you're possibly, bro. He called Netanyahu like possibly the greatest leader in the world or some shit like that the other day or yesterday. Like, bro, first of all, that's some weird ass dick riding for Trump, because Trump don't believe anybody the greatest leader in the world except for him.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that you're saying about Netanyahu lets me know you are a problem. Like, this man, Netanyahu, Israel, it's becoming more and more obvious to me that like they're the problem, he's a problem, and they're going full mask off recently, to the point where it's like they're putting all their chips on the table. Like, yeah, no, we got to do this now. For whatever reason, they feel like they have to make their move now. And it's become more like with these moves against, they just launched another offensive against Lebanon. They're making this deal with Syria to formalize a military presence there. They're obviously, we never know when they're going to attack Iran again. I don't believe that was the last attack. They agreed to, quote, like, actually, no. Netanyahu didn't even really agree to a ceasefire deal. What he said was they achieved their goals. They achieved their objectives. That is not agreeing to a ceasefire. So I don't believe that's over. It's just they're biding time for the United States to rearm them, because they were getting their ass handed to them because that Iron Dome got smacked down. It got smacked down. That thing got crushed. Boy, wasn't nothing iron about that dome, boy. I'm trying to tell you. It was like, I just feel like Israel right now is controlling everything with and by the way, I don't believe that this Russia-Ukraine conflict is like mutually exclusive. I still maintain that because Putin does not like Netanyahu, if need be, he will get involved in an effort to defend Iran, because the world's economy depends on it. The BRICS economy depends on it. The global South economy depends on it, because it isn't just about the oil. It's about the supply chain that would be disrupted, right? So, but in order to ensure that Russia, because Putin is a very astute military mind, he isn't going to overstretch himself in the same way that the United States would in this situation. He has to handle his business first. So you got to keep Putin occupied. You cannot allow him the freedom to get involved with Iran, because he will, because it is in the interest of Russia to do so. He'll say he won't. I believe that he would. He's like, yeah, but he also said like, yeah, I'll let this. He's made it clear how he felt about Ukraine and NATO, and like, yeah, I'm not gonna go to war, but I'm just letting y'all know I'm not gonna go to war. But okay, y'all testing me too much. Now I gotta go handle my business. I feel like it's the same thing with Iran. I feel like he knows if they lose, you can't lose Syria and Iran. Can't do it. You lose Syria and Iran, Afghanistan and Iraq are gone. They're done. Azerbaijan's already with Ukraine and Israel. And that's like the little proxy over there. They're not official member of NATO, but that it's right now the speculation is that it was Azerbaijan that helped Israel traffic those weapons, those bombs, and the Mossad agents into Iran, because they border Iran. So, and that's shit. That country's corrupt as shit. So they're not going to. No smart superpower from the global South or Russia would allow Iran to be overthrown. And as gracious and graceful as the leadership of Iran has been, and I can appreciate the desire to advocate for peace. And by the way, I think it's important to mention during that interview, he made it clear that the reason that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon is because their religion does not allow them to. And he was very clear about that. And I've talked about that too. I'm like, y'all not understanding. Like, hell, personally, I want them to have a nuke. I need them to have a nuke. I feel like the world's stability depends on Iran having a nuke. Because, we have plenty of examples that every time a leader gets rid of their nukes and the US or Israel has beef with them, that leader is no longer alive.
Like Gaddafi,
Saddam. There are a couple guys, but like people forget that's what happens when you get rid of your nukes. So, they tried to assassinate this man. He is still carrying himself with such grace. Like, And I appreciate the fact that he even said like he said, yo, we want peace, but like don't get it twisted. We are prepared to defend ourselves too. But like the way he carried himself in an interview let me know like it gave me a glimpse really into how he like his vision of the world and Iran's vision of the world. Like they genuinely want peace, bro. He's like, can y'all just leave us the fuck alone? Like, bro, just leave us alone. But I do believe that he mischaracterized Trump's ability to maintain peace in that region. I think he gave him a little bit too much credit. He was like, no, Trump or the president of the United States is powerful enough to stop Israel. No, I don't believe that he is.
Well, because the people who own Trump, being the actual people at the top, don't want him to stop Israel.
Yeah, I mean people at the top they're Zionists. Like,
yeah.
That's my personal theory. Anyway. The people at the tippity top are Zionists through and through. This Zionist supremacy idea. I mean, I don't know how, when you're talking about, so we know who is in control based off of like the levers that they have the ability to pull because of where they're running. Like the most important aspects of society, for example, finance, right? Okay, who's in control of the finance? Zionists. Entertainment. Who's in control of entertainment? Zionists. Okay, like, bro, and it's weird how you can consistently go to multiple countries and it's the same pattern. That's what's scary. Like that, bro. You would think that shit's different in Brazil. No, at the tippity top, it's Zionists. Mm-hmm. And it's as crazy as that shit would seem. No, it's real. Like you go to Venezuela, same shit happens. There's a lot of Zionists. Now Maduro is different because he runs a show there, and he's able to get them out. But like a lot of the problems that were caused there and that are caused by white Christian Zionists, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at all the levers of society that can be pulled to influence outcomes in one form or another, and the fact that Zionists run every single one of them, they have the ability to pull every single one of them. And so they are the ones with the power. It ain't nobody above that, right? Like you can't get any higher than that. You can't get any more important or influential. So when you're insinuating that Trump, like, because this is, I guess the timing of all of it really is kind of telling. Because he's like, yeah, Trump has the power to stop this, right? As Netanyahu's pulling up to Trump's crib to tell him what the fuck he is and is not going to release. That's why I believe he was there, right?
Yep.
Right? He telling him what is and what is not going to go down with Palestine. He's going there to put his dick on the table. That's what he showed up to the U.S. to do. And even though Trump supposedly has problems with Netanyahu, at least the way he conducts himself, because Trump will tell Netanyahu not to do something, and Netanyahu will literally do the fucking opposite. He's like, I don't give a shit what you tell me to do. I'm going to do what I want. And guess what you're going to do about it? Not to damn ting. Right? Like, so at the end of the day, if Trump had the power to stop what took place with Iran and Israel, like if he genuinely, because I don't believe it was him who stopped. I believe it was genuinely Israel who gave pause because Netanyahu was losing the propaganda war. That's what it was. Not because he ain't got a problem sacrificing his own people, but he won't sacrifice them needlessly if he's losing the propaganda war in that particular case. And if he had control, those files would be released, my guy.
Yeah.
Because we know who Epstein was working for.
Yep.
But the fact they weren't released, the fact that Israel attacked Iran and they just knew the U.S. was going to get involved. Why? Because we fucking told them to. That's why. We told them to. Well, but y'all don't control the U.S. They give you the money. And who pays? They give us the money and then we give it back to them to make sure they do what we want. So that's where I would say that he was off. I don't think that he actually understands just how much Israel is in control. And I feel like oftentimes the world is underestimating just how much control Israel has. Not even just Netanyahu, Israel. Because Netanyahu is answering to somebody. I don't know who it is. But I don't know if you're aware, but he was supposed to have his corruption trial last week. People don't know that. But he was supposed to have a corruption hearing last week. Guess what? Got put off again. and the mainstream media didn't talk about it. Like you would think that's a mainstream media headline, considering the war between them and Iran, considering he just launched an offensive against Lebanon, considering the protests outside of his damn house, considering the ICC charges, considering the genocide he's actively participating in, considering the fact that he's trying to convince multiple countries to basically assume governance of Palestine, basically passing them from one master to another, effectively. Like all the things going on surrounding Netanyahu, you would assume that his corruption hearing getting pushed back again without a legitimate reason would make national headlines. It did not. Why? Because who pulls the levers of information? Zionists.
Yeah.
And that's an inconvenient headline.
Well, in my mind, I'm going by what Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson said, that really is the United States that operates Israel rather than the other way around. But at the same time, I'm thinking that the people at the very tippy top are, yes, they are Zionists. And it's almost as if Netanyahu is like the manager of Trump, but there's somebody above him that's really controlling Netanyahu.
There is somebody above Netanyahu. I don't know who it is, but there's somebody above him. I wish I could figure it out, bro. I'm almost scared to figure it out, because if I dig deep enough.
Oh yeah.
You know how that goes. But there's no way, bro. He is so unpopular. He is widely unpopular in his own country. Members of his own party want him out of office. Members of his own administration have left office because of the way he's handled this policy.
Mama probably don't even like him.
Huh? Say what?
I said his mama probably don't even like him.
Hell, probably not. Shit, like nobody likes him. This dude has an abysmal support. Like he does no one, bro. There'd be protests outside of his house daily, dog. Like, and yet this man can convince a judge. He basically didn't even try to come up with a legitimate reason as to why it should be pushed back. He was like, man, we just handling some important shit this week. This ain't a good week for me. Yeah. All right, man, that's cool. We'll push it back again. There's supposed to be 70 hearings, JB. How is it gonna happen? They've held, I think, like 2 or 3 out of the 70. And the hearings are supposed to start last year.
Oh my God.
So, like, when is this gonna happen, bro? Because every time he starts a new war, that Israel has already set a precedent that as long as they're engaged in an active conflict, they can push back elections. And clearly, as long as they're engaged in an active conflict, they can also push back these corruption hearings. So in order for him to be able to continue to get away with this without any legitimate accountability, there has to be somebody above him pulling the lever. Because it ain't him. He ain't got that much damn power, or else there wouldn't be any corruption hearings to begin with. Yeah. But someone is protecting him from being held accountable. And that's who we need to figure out. Like, we need to figure out who that is.
Yeah.
I'm scared to figure it out. Like I said, I'm scared to know, because that's probably open up a whole different can of worms. But once we figure out who's pulling his levers, then we'll probably have the answer to a lot of the problems in the world, and it maybe start to figure out some solutions, because it's getting out of control. It really is. Like the lack of control the U.S. president has, it's becoming more and more obvious, because everybody understands Trump's personality, and what we're seeing is not it.
Yeah.
He's basically been castrated. He looks like a bitch. Like, I don't know how else to put it.
So I do have one more thing that I want to touch on. Do you have like 5 more minutes?
Surely do. Okay.
So I want to get off the walking, talking dingleberry that we know as Netanyahu and go to this attack from the Democrats on Zohran Mamdani. This one is kind of crazy. Not crazy.
Well, is it crazy?
So here's former Governor David Paterson, right?
Who didn't even win, by the way. He didn't even win a governorship. He just kind of like assumed office, right? After old boy retired, or not retired, resigned, was forced to resign.
Yeah. But here's what he said in regards to Zohran Mamdani. He says, following a morning's press conference outside of WABC radio studios calling for unity within the Democratic Party in advance of November's election, New York State 55th Governor David Paterson released the following statement. Patterson has also previously served as Democratic State Party chair. He says, I've been very clear in my position that I simply do not believe Zohran Mamdani is the best person to lead New York City in its extremely turbulent times. We just saw a federal budget passed and signed that will create havoc on New Yorkers in the coming years in our education system, the healthcare community, and for hardworking families already struggling to make ends meet. We cannot afford ideas without a plan for implementation or funding. Mr. Mamdani ran a successful primary campaign with tremendous ads and a well-done social media strategy that engaged young voters in a way we have not seen to date. However, the general election is a very different electorate that encompasses the entirety of the city. I truly believe my fellow Democrats will be doing a disservice to the people they wish to serve if they do not come together and decide to support whichever candidate has the most support among them in advance of November 4th. We're at a critically important time in our country's history, and the most populous city in America will need true leadership to navigate this moment. That leadership will need to show itself in the coming months before ballots are printed and the voters start returning ballots by mail. As public polls and surveys are revealed in these coming weeks, it is my hope and belief that other candidates still in the race will come to the logical conclusion that New York City needs the most effective leader to navigate what's coming next, and that cannibalizing each other's support will be doing a disservice to the millions of people who call New York home.
Okay, man, that was a lot of way for a blind guy to not say shit. What? So, okay, my question. It's funny, Patterson's blind. So like, I'm not, you know me, I actually don't trust Mamdani all that much at this moment. He got to earn my trust. But like, okay, so who is it? Because he said it's not Mom. So who is the candidate that he is saying would be the?
What happened to vote blue no matter who?
Yeah, what did not like so vote blue no matter who is already out the door, and also is he's saying like vote for Eric because he didn't say Eric Adams. So it sounds like he's actually advocating for Andrew Cuomo, but he can't say that because he's also a rapist. So like he can't say it, but he's saying it because you know how Cuomo basically created his own party specifically because he feared that he would lose the primary, so that he could run, which he did lose. Which actually kind of surprised me to some degree because Democrats ain't never had no problem electing a sexual predator. So like who are you saying that it's Eric Adams or? And also, don't get me wrong. Since when do New Yorkers since when do New York Democratic Party members care about how and what's going to be funded in New York? Like y'all just gonna raise taxes and screw people over anyway. Like that's just kind of how y'all do business in New York. Like ain't nobody being fooled by that shit. I feel like if you take money from like the NYPD, for example, and take money from a lot of these corrupt institutions that are just throwing money away, it'll be fine. A lot of the programs that he's advocating for are just like maintenance programs. It's to disallow private institutions to take advantage of New Yorkers. If we're being real, he's not asking for a lot. Mamdani is like the most basic of basic socialism, if you want to call it that. But really, it's just common sense. He's legitimately not asking for a lot. Like I said, I don't even trust him that much. But like, what would qualify as good leadership during this turbulent time, as he mentioned? And why didn't he mention a name? That's what's weird to me. It's like they brought this man out just to say, fuck Mamdani. Like, I'm just letting y'all know I'm former Mayor Patterson, who didn't even win. I had to be picked. Like, I had to be, because he was lieutenant mayor. And the original mayor was forced to resign like a year in. So Patterson served the rest of the 3 years. Didn't even win. So like he doesn't really have any say because I believe he was actually picked. He was selected. And so I don't understand why he actually believes that he's influential amongst the voting bloc. He hasn't shown any competency regarding how and who is going to how they're going to vote and why they're going to vote the way they vote. And why would he believe that New York City can't be won over through the campaign strategy that Mamdani has put forth? because so far it's been working. It's been working so to such a degree that Trump feels the need to get fucking involved, which is weird to me. Because he's like, bro, why you care so much? It's nothing to do with
your race.
It's this whole Mamdani race in general has been weird as hell. I ain't gonna cap. Like, it's been weird to me. Trump getting involved, I'm seeing like legitimate criticisms from the left, like this whole idea of him prioritizing anti-Semitism and combating that. And like, I'm like, bro, don't put anti-Semitism and hate crime in the same sentence unless it's gonna be preceded by, and our black brothers and sisters have been dealing with X, Y, and Z, and that's why we got to because like he ain't doing too much black voters, and people don't know Cuomo won the black vote, and there's a reason for that. It's not necessarily because of what Mamdani did; it's because of what he hasn't done and what he hasn't said. So, this to be clear, but even still, like, I don't understand, like, why we have the left that has legitimate criticisms. But then if you make the legitimate criticism, people are coming at you crazy, like we put Jesus on the cross and try to crucify. I'm like, nah, it's just we were around for the last 10 years, my guy. We saw AOC, we lived through it. We saw Bernie Sanders, we saw Tulsi Gabbard, we saw for some people Andrew Yang, like we saw it. Like, bro, y'all want to call the same trick again?
Yeah, we saw what they did with India Walton. Like,
you feel me? Like, not for nothing. Like, he don't remind me of his daddy. I don't get that energy from him. I get opportunists at the moment, and that's just it is what it is. I'm sorry, but like, you can't be out here thanking Elizabeth Warren for her fucking endorsement. Fuck her. Like, she's a snake. Why are you thanking her? Don't ingratiate yourself with any of these motherfuckers. Because what's Elizabeth Warren gonna do? Elizabeth Warren got nothing to do with your race, right? If I'm keeping it real. Like, don't talk to them. Don't associate. But then you got the right. And they ain't got shit to say about this man except for the fact that he's brown. He's brown. He's not white. He's brown. And he eats with his hands. Like, these motherfuckers ain't never ate a hot dog or a French fry in their life. Like, bro. They ain't never ate pizza, hot dog, French fry, popsicle. They never ate. I'm like, so y'all ain't got no policy criticisms of this man. It's just he's too brown for y'all. And they saying, and it's crazy because like they keep talking about him like he's from the Middle East, but he's not from the Middle East. His dad's not from he's Ugandan, which is even crazier. I'm like, why the hell they keep talking about this man like because that's how they talk about it. They keep talking about him like he's from the Middle East for real. They keep mentioning it. I'm like, y'all do this motherfucker is Ugandan, right? He's Ugandan. Why do y'all keep speaking about him like he's from Afghanistan? Well, it's because he's brown. So y'all just don't like him because he's brown and specifically because he's not white.
Yeah. And the crazy part is I think his family is from India. Originally?
I think that their dad, I think they're of Desi descent. No, but his dad is Ugandan, bro.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like his national, like, racially he's Asian, right?
Yeah, I think he would be that. I think he's Desi.
Nationality, he's Ugandan. So therefore, it's like, India's way over here. Why are you acting like he's from Afghanistan or Iraq? Like,
yeah, it's like he's Southeast Asian. Like, bro, it's just bizarre. I guess specifically because he's Muslim, but like, as far as his Muslim practice is concerned, he doesn't look like he's not even like a strict, staunch Muslim. He just happens to be Muslim because his family is Muslim. Kind of like that. Like, and like he didn't run on being Muslim. Like, what are you talking? You know what I'm saying? Like he's pro LGBTQ community. Like he's doesn't really have any of the whatever negative stereotype or conservative stereotype you would have of a Muslim community. Like he doesn't have any. He doesn't fall into any of those categories. So why are y'all so upset?
Yeah,
it is like they're mad about that, which is ironic, right? Because then they're mad about that. Like, how can it be pro LGBTQ? Hold up, I thought y'all just mad because y'all worried that he will fall back on these Muslim tendencies, these stereotypical Muslim tendencies, and now you're upset because he doesn't fall back on the stereotypes of Muslims. So what are y'all upset about?
Yeah, why are you mad? It's just like it's the same thing. It's like, wait a minute, if somebody who's a diehard Christian who is, cool with LGBTQ people, you guys should be asking that same question. All right, well, this person's a Christian. Why are they so cool with LGBTQ people? They'll never ask that question, but they want to ask it for somebody who's Muslim. Like,
and that's weird as hell.
One of my homies, one of my comrades is a Shiite Muslim and very cool with LGBTQ people and wants liberation for them. So therefore, who like that like how they treat people is what matters,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it should be.
Because
Anyway.
I know many people. I used to be an evangelical Christian myself. So here's the question, right? If that is such a huge stain on somebody who is a Christian, then why in the world should we choose anybody to be Christian to run our government? Who claim to be a liberal?
Because they'll basically they complain that their biggest complaints about a Muslim that wants to be in charge is that they fall back on these very conservative beliefs. But I'm like, but y'all, the most conservative aspects of Muslims, generally speaking, Christians also follow, at least the evangelical ones. So it's like, what are you complaining about? Isn't this actually what y'all want? Don't y'all want a socially conservative guy in charge? If he's, but like, no, because what did they tell you? Oh, if you think Muslim countries are so good, how about you go be gay over there in Palestine? So hold up. So now y'all advocate for the LGBTQ community? I'm surprised. Hold on, I'm confused. I thought y'all didn't like gay people. What? Now you're saying like rah gays? Like I'm confused. So just like this, I prefer, honestly, I really do prefer whenever they're just like, yeah, bro, we don't like him because he's not white. Just say that shit. I would have more respect for you. Because
stop being a coward and just let people know how racist and bigoted you really are.
Yeah, be like Laura Loomer, dumbass. You know what I mean? But she's racist, bigoted, and stupid as fuck. Like you can't be all three. Like, because she be saying, I'm like, yo, you are not help, bro. I'm pretty sure that there are people who might have been racist until they read your account. They're like, damn, do I sound like this? I think I need to go reach out to my fellow human beings and reconcile some things because I cannot be walking around sounding like Laura Loomer my whole life. Because that woman, because she'll turn around and play victim about how much she just be so hurt and so afraid for her life because Jewish people are suffering and everybody hates them, and then will literally turn around and post a tweet about how much she hates Muslims, like just hates them, not for any reason in particular, just because they're Muslim. I'm like, there's no way that she's tweeting this shit back to back. You want to talk about somebody on a fucking ketamine kick like Elon? That woman is on a mixture of drugs that I don't know what she on, dog. Looking like motherfucking Jigsaw. Looking like Jigsaw surgery gone wrong. Boy, that plastic surgery, it looked like she was left in the microwave too fucking long, to be honest with you. That's what it looked like. It looked like when you leave your plastic, you try to heat some up. You're like, damn, I put that shit on 11 minutes instead of 1 minute. Like, and you ain't go back and check. Cause I be like, the focus on Mamdani, like, dog, I'm telling you, I'm like looking at these tweets, I'm like, y'all really make it hard to not like the dude because I don't trust him. But like, shit, bro, what is y'all problem? Can y'all make a policy criticism? I would love to have a policy debate about, because New York has a very complicated political ecosystem, and I get that. So like, if y'all want to have a policy conversation about Mamdani, I'm all here for it, bro. Let's debate it. I can't debate 9/11 comparisons, JB. I can't debate that shit. What am I gonna say to that? Like, you a dumb motherfucker, and I gotta move on. I don't know what else to say. Cause I'm like, this is 2025, and y'all like, oh man, in 2001, never forget. In 2025, Mamdani, and they had like a picture of a plane flying, and all that. Like, bro, what? That's what we're doing? That's crazy, dog. And also, you blaming the wrong people. Blame your fucking government, because that's what those people that were flying them planes were working for. So let's keep it a band if we're gonna talk about that. Because those same conservatives that are trying to claim all of a sudden that it was definitely those random Muslims who did it, all of a sudden forgot about all those legitimate conspiracy theories about how our government was involved and Israel was involved. Everybody knows about the dancing Israelis. If you don't know, go look it up. Like, we know who was really responsible for 9/11. And it wasn't some random Muslim from Afghanistan. They had passports. They were already taking flight lessons. And if you really want to look at the intricacies of that whole thing, go look up the case. It was done by Judge Locke. Funny enough, I know this because Judge Locke was actually the guy who presided over the DNC fraud lawsuit. So he was also the one who, because that case against the Saudi Arabians who were involved in 9/11 was based out of Florida too. So that's how I learned about Judge Locke. Yeah, go look it up. It won't. It definitely. I mean, shit. You got George Bush out here in fucking Florida reading the book backwards and shit. Like, come on, bro. Let's keep it a band. It ain't got shit to do with no Muslims. I'm sorry. Like, y'all can't pretend like Muslims are these violent, evil, just inherently animalistic human beings when y'all go to their country and fuck shit up all the time.
Exactly.
It's y'all. Y'all the problems. Y'all the terrorists. Y'all well-equipped, well-financed terrorists with nice uniforms. That's it.
Yep.
So, like, pretending like Muslims are the problem is just wild to me because I'd be thinking to myself, like, do they just forgot that we literally made up a fake fucking excuse to go to Iraq and kill hundreds of thousands of Iraqis? Killed hundreds of thousands of them and didn't even issue so much as an apology officially. We didn't even give them our bag, y'all. Our bag. We didn't even have enough decency to do that, JB. But they would have had like
Abu Ghraib?
Huh?
Did we even apologize for Abu Ghraib?
No. They haven't apologized for shit. The closest thing we got to an apology is them admitting that there were no weapons of mass destruction. That's about as close as like, but so like, what about the hundreds of thousands of Iraqis that were killed?
Yeah,
like what the fuck? Yeah, that is not a small number of people. That is not a small, like, these are people who woke up one day and found out a foreign country foreign military just entered their country and is just kicking down doors and shooting motherfuckers up. And you don't even know why you kick it, like, because you don't know who working with what they was, it was a clan. They're working with Saddam. They're terrorists. They're this. They're that. They're insurgents. They're this. Like, they was coming up. They were inventing reasons to kick down fucking doors. When they saw somebody with a gun in their hand, they shot them. They ain't stop to think, motherfucker. You ever think they got a gun in their hand because you kicking on their fucking door with a gun in your hand? And you think that they're the problem. You think that they are the animals. Like, if they come to your country, they're gonna cause issues in your society. When you go to their society and you don't kill one, you don't kill two, they ain't like one attack, they ain't like two. No, you killed hundreds of thousands and you did it multiple times in multiple countries. But you worried about that one Muslim that might be mayor of New York. Bruh, that shit's crazy to me. That is like, that is some disillusionment that I am not qualified to assess. But that shit, it never ceases to amaze me how white people have convinced themselves that they are the potential victims of Muslims and Islamic culture. When I'm like, they don't be out. Like, if you go to like the UAE or even Saudi Arabia, as extremely conservative socially as they may be, they don't have the violent crime that we have or that the U.S. has. Like, so are they really the problem? Is it really their culture that's the problem?
Good question.
But as far as Mamdani is concerned, that letter is hilarious. I'm just, because like, he said all that shit and didn't even name somebody. He's like, we got to get behind whoever's ahead. Okay.
Mamdani is the dude that's ahead. What the hell?
But if he's ahead, then you should get behind him, is what you're saying? Or are you saying you're mad that he's ahead and we should do what we can to get somebody else ahead of him? Like, I don't, that message, I guess that's what happened when you let a blind man write a letter like that. I should stop doing that. That's not cool. But I'm really upset because he's a Democrat. I'm not really upset because he's blind, but like, they brought a man who hasn't won. He did not win his election. That's what's crazy about this. Like, who is he to give an analysis on what the Democrats want during its election in an era? It's a brand new era. Because I think he was like from 2002 or some shit like that. Like, it's a brand new era. And your blind ass coming out of nowhere. You didn't write the letter. We know you ain't write it. Somebody else wrote it for you. I ain't stop. And somebody else wrote that shit for you, bro. You ain't write it. But your blind ass come out of nowhere talking about we got his policies aren't good enough. Doesn't even give an explanation as to why. It then says you got to get behind the person who's ahead and doesn't realize that in a lot of polls he's the one who's ahead. But then he doesn't advocate for Eric Adams, even though he's the mayor at the moment. So he's not even celebrating or claiming that Eric Adams is equipped to lead New York into the future. But he also doesn't advocate for Andrew Cuomo, who is the only other effective quote unquote Democrat in the race. So what the fuck are you asking for, my guy? Anybody but Mamdani, basically.
even though Mamdani has handedly beat Cuomo fair and square, and he beat him pretty good, it wasn't even that close.
He beat his ass. I was kind of surprised by that. I was thankful because I'm like, yo, man, thank God y'all didn't elect the rapist, because that would be a bad look. New York, I ain't gonna cap. Like this, he didn't even give people enough time to forget that he's a fucking sexual predator. Like you couldn't wait a few years, bro. Like JB, that shit happened like a couple years ago.
And many people still remember the fact that Cuomo led to the deaths of many of their grandparents and great aunts and parents and things like that. And during the pandemic, when it comes to the nursing home scandal.
Yeah.
So a lot of people hold him accountable for that, for the deaths of their families. So
just get money.
So basically killed a whole bunch of people and then sexually assaulted a bunch of women.
And then got his brother to try to
Why is he not being laughed out of the room?
Yeah, the fact that he got votes at all is kind of fucking weird. So there's that. Like, because it wasn't like he was innocent. Like, he was like guilty of the shit. Like, it was all out there. Like,
yeah.
So I guess what he is trying to say is that whoever is like closest to Mamdani between Cuomo and Eric Adams, they need to reconcile and one of them needs to drop out. I think that's what he's trying to say. But he doesn't want to say that explicitly because he doesn't want beef with any of them. Because we all know that Cuomo is basically a fucking mafia boss. And Eric Adams, he is cooked up. He's hooked up enough and connected well enough that he could still make life hell for Patterson. Because he's not really, Patterson doesn't seem to be that important. So I think that's what it comes down to, which is why he didn't say any names, but he's basically telling them like, whoever's ahead, put your pride to the side. And it could be that he's telling Cuomo to drop out. He's like, yo, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you still here? You just got caught sexually assaulting somebody and everybody knows you're guilty. Your brother had to quit his job. Well, rather he got fired because of this shit. Because he tried to cover for your ass. Because of how guilty your ass really was. You didn't give anybody a chance to forget how guilty you were. And he just popped back in here and make life hell for the Democratic Party, which kind of, I guess, puts to rest this idea of blue no matter who. Because even they know at this point, like, bro, there's limits to this blue no matter who shit. We can't blue no matter who you, like, if you don't even give no, even with Bill Biden and Tara Reid, there was like a 20 to 30 year grace period, like for people to forget. And then she had to, the reason it took, it never really caught fire again like it should is because people had to be reminded about what happened with her, or reminded even what happened with Nina Hill and how he helped Judge, fuck is his name?
Clarence
Thomas get off on that. Yeah. Like there was some space in between. That boy gave us months to forget. And so nobody forgot. So maybe he's telling Cuomo, hey, bro, drop out. Let Eric Adams. But I don't think that Eric Adams can be, if Cuomo drops out, I don't think that Eric Adams can beat Mamdani one-on-one. Because it's going to be a Democrat who wins. And I don't think that Eric Adams can win. Because Eric Adams is shit. That boy is a fucking clown. Like, I can't believe that he won mayor the first. Like, I can't believe he won the first time. Especially how he handled Brooklyn. Like, he was not a good representative for Brooklyn. Like, so, but I do believe, I will say that AOC endorsement, unfortunately, was worth something. I do believe it was worth something. And unfortunately, yeah, I know, because that probably means that her voice in New York to the casuals is still, it still resonates to some degree. And I believe that at least if they're like, okay, well, if she's talking about him, let's at least look into his policies, and it's like compare that to Cuomo or Eric Adams, and there is not really a choice. If I was a New Yorker, and personally, I probably would vote green if I had an option. But like, if I was a New Yorker and I was like, okay, I'm going to vote for one of these people who actually has a chance to win. If my choices were Mamdani, Cuomo, and this guy, like, and Eric Adams, like, I would vote for Mamdani just to figure, like, well, let's just see how this shit works out. I mean, it can't get no worse. Like, and everybody else, all the Democratic Party and the Republican Party fucking hates him. So, like, I'm just giving him a chance at least. But I just would have very low expectations, unfortunately. That's where I would stand.
Yeah, so many people have that. Thank you so very much for watching my channel, and I deeply appreciate it from the top and bottom of my heart. If you wish to support the channel further, so I can keep bringing you content that is educational and informative, you can become a patron on patreon.com/Jaybefaunt. You can find that link in the pinned comment or in the description below. No matter what you give, you'll be supporting independent media and education that helps make the world better. Thank you so much, and you can watch more of my content here. Mwah. Forehead kisses, and have a beautiful day.